at you. What's up? What's up? What's up? This is the time of year when you're 0 and 6 where the debate starts. You know the one. Whether you're 3 and 8, it starts, or sometimes you're 4 and 9 and it starts, or 4 and 10. And the debate is certain fans start rooting for losses because you start to look ahead at the draft, you start to see a bunch of players, you identify the one that you really want, and you start to wonder where they're going to get drafted. We're so early in our stinking. Like, we've gotten so bad so fast. Our season is pretty much out of grasp so quickly this year that we don't know exactly. It's not the Trevor Lawrence year. We don't know exactly who the number one is because there are people who like this guy, Dante Moore. It's funny how from one football game, things can change, right? From one game to another. From 3 games, in the course of 3 weeks, Drew Aller went from top 5 pick by some people to not draftable, unsigned free agent, undisclosed free agent. So we don't know yet the number of draft pick that we need to get the guy we like. I think the overall consensus in the Jets world is this guy Mendoza, right? He's the guy that Jet fans adore and fall in love with, and we're not the only fan base. The Miami Dolphin fans are fawning all over this guy. Also, they want Mendoza as well, and a lot of teams are going to want him. There are still people that list Dante Moore. The announcers, college football announcers, man, I don't know who pays them, but clearly hyping this guy more. And I have nothing against Dante Moore. I just think it's a little too much too soon, based on the fact that he plays in the greatest situation a quarterback could play in college, right? I mean, can you remember that a time an Oregon quarterback didn't do well? Now, that doesn't mean they can't be an NFL quarterback. I mean, Bo Nix is, I don't think Bo Nix at the end of the day is going to be, one of these elite guys. I mean, he could be. He's so young. He's only in his second year, so who knows, right? But I don't, you see how, Sam Darnold bloomed late, Baker Mayfield now, right? I always thought Baker was good, by the way. So Bo Nix is like, certainly, and it's beyond dispute, he's a functional NFL quarterback. He has terrible games, he has good games, but he's functional, obviously. Denver has a winning record. They're winning with him. He's not good every game, but he's young, and sometimes he makes great deep passes or whatever. He goes buck wild. And he's only in his second year. So, I mean, you look at that, you look at Justin Herbert or Haybear or whatever his name is, pretty good quarterback for the Chargers, right? Good, solid NFL quarterback. Not after his rookie year, people thought he was going to be elite. Like, he's not. He stopped. Like, he didn't explode into eliteness. He didn't become Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, or anything like that. But he's really good, solid NFL quarterback. Gabriel doesn't look great, but he's only had 2 starts, right? So it's not like these guys from Oregon are not draftable because they are in a great situation. We shouldn't say that because they are. But if you really watch Dante Moore, there's concerns. Like, there's very little evidence. Like, we're sitting here living with Justin Fields, who is a one-read quarterback, right? That everybody agrees now. You all saw it, right? It's like you take out the first read, Justin, he doesn't know what to do, right? For whatever reason, he didn't run. I mean, he used to run. Maybe in London, maybe it's concussion. He decided that he wasn't going to run. I'm going to be a full drop back quarterback and stay in the pocket. Well, that didn't work out, right? Because you can't force yourself to be able to read through progressions. That's not something you could just make happen. That's something that you just have to be able to do. I don't know what makes some quarterbacks able to do it and others not. I just know that Justin Fields does not. He's not able to process in an NFL football game. But anyway, that's my concern with Dante Moore. He might be able to process, but it's rolling the dice. You just don't know because he plays in an offense that's really quick, RPO, first read. So it's a little bit of a chance. There's some talent there. He didn't look that great in that game to me. I know I was watching him, and he didn't look bad. There's just nothing special about him. Mendoza You take away the one pick six, which was a terrible throw, terrible read, but we've seen NFL quarterbacks, very good ones, do that all the time, right? Every college quarterback, when you look at their stats, has interceptions, right? So they all, this one happened to be a pick six, but it's the same thing. It's a bad decision, bad pass. This one was both. It was bad decision to throw it, and it was a bad pass. But what was his response? His response was he led a touchdown drive, and he made a fantastic pass into the end zone. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. What I'm saying is, we don't know who the number one pick is. We don't know, you know, if we don't know who the number one pick and who's going to be the darling of the draft yet because it changes every week, right? We like Mendoza. Right now, I think overall the Jet fan base likes Mendoza. Okay? So the question comes in because there are already fans starting to root for the tank. Let's go 0-17. Let's go 1-16. Let's like I hope they lose. We're out of the playoffs anyway. It's stupid to win meaningless games. These games are meaningless, right? Usually that's happening week 15, week 16. Unfortunately, we're now the nightmare is here, and we're having this conversation going into week 7. So here's my thoughts on this. People have got to stop, people have got to stop attacking other fans that don't that have a different opinion as them. People have got to stop telling other fans that they're not real fans because someone doesn't agree with you. Because what you're saying is that they have the right to say that you're not a real fan. To sit there and say you're not a real fan because you disagree with me is ridiculous. This is a debate that's splitted this fan base every year because every year we suck, and at some point we're having this conversation. Are we rooting for us to lose for a better draft pick? It's every year. And there are people that are on the side of never. It doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers was picked at the end of the first round. Lamar Jackson was picked at the end of the first round. You can get a good quarterback at the end of the round. Then some other people argue, yeah, but you're just doing samples or case studies. If you look at overall statistically, you have a better chance of getting your franchise quarterback in the top 10 if you get one of the top 3 guys. Like, people could argue back and forth. That's fine. You want to tank? You're rooting for them to tank, or you're rooting for them to lose because you want a better draft pick because you wanted to get Mendoza, and you're convinced he's going to go top 3, and that's the only way we're going to be able to get him. Okay. You want the team to win because you want these guys to start feeling and learning how to win so they can go into next year without that hanging over their shoulder, that maybe we end up winning. You want to win 5 out of the last 8 games. So so we can go into the offseason feeling good about something. That's okay too. That's a reasonable argument, right? And there's counter arguments for each of these things. A counter argument to wanting to win 5 out of 8 games might be there's 30 guys that are going to be unsigned. We only have 23 guys committed into next year. It's going to be a totally different team. No one's going to remember or care about these games. The other argument to that is bullshit. A lot of the core players will be here, and they need to show there's hope, and they need to go into next year with signs of progress. The coaching staff might need the encouragement and the signs of progress. The fans might need to see that the coaching staff is able to turn this around, win some games, and they're able to coach winning games. So there's arguments on both sides, right? Here's what I believe. You know, I think that the team is not going to tank. Aaron Glenn is never going to go into the locker room or never secretly in secret meetings say, let's play the bad players, let's call bad plays, and let's lose so we can get the better draft pick. It's not, I don't believe it. It's not impossible. I don't believe it. I strongly feel that that would never happen. I don't think that the Jets organization would purposely tank and lose games. I think that Aaron Glenn would tell them to F off and walk out of the building. I don't think you can get that guy to lose a game on purpose, right? People are saying he was already doing that. No way. That guy wants to win so bad. So they're not going to, so that's the first thing that every fan has to realize. We don't impact that. What we want does not impact the result. It doesn't. Anyone who says it does is smoking crack, like high. Woody Johnson's motivated by money and pride. That's it. So don't think that if a lot of fans say we should tank, that I want the people who are against tanking, don't sit there and say, hey, stop it. You're going to make them tank. Like you're making it happen. No, no, no one's influencing what the Jets organization is going to do. So let's get that straight. They're going to try to win every game. If a fan wants to root against them to lose, that's their right. It doesn't make them a bad Jet fans. We might disagree with them, right? It might be your feeling that a real fan in your mind, in your fandom, you never root for a loss. You root for your team to win. And that's fine. No one should call you stupid for that. There are people out there that say you're stupid, you're ridiculous, you're a dumb fan, you're ignorant because you're rooting for your team. And you're not somebody who says, I want a better draft pick. That's ridiculous. Nobody should attack you. You should never be attacked for wanting your team to win games. Now, on the other side, attacking people for wanting to lose to get a better draft pick at the end of the year, saying, oh, I hope we lose this game because I really want to get this player. You might disagree with that passionately, but that doesn't make that fan a bad fan. That doesn't make them a fake fan because their goal in their mind is if we lose the next couple of games, we're going to have a top 5 pick. We can get Mendoza. And I believe that's what's going to make this franchise great in the long run. Like you can't say, or you shouldn't say that somebody is not a good fan. Is it's like we don't have the right. It's like, in Christianity, the little bit I know, I have a friend who's pretty religious. The one thing he told me is that he doesn't have the right to do. He says he could pray for people. He could try to tell people why it's important to have a relationship with Jesus. Like he could do all those things. But what he's not allowed to do is judge another Christian. Like he is not allowed to decide whether or not they're a good Christian or not. That's part of that religion. It's not to, and it's probably a part of every religion. I don't know. I'm just saying I had somebody who's a pastor who taught me this. He said, we're not supposed to judge each other. We're not supposed to empower ourselves to judge people. That's for God. That's a higher power that decides who's a good Christian, right? So what my point is that we shouldn't decide who's a good Jet fan and who's not a good Jet fan. Like respect people's opinions. Some people want to tank because they want Mendoza and they believe tanking will get him. Some people want to win because they think it's more important to have a winning culture or to teach players how to win. We're allowed to disagree without saying that feeling one way or the other makes us a bad fan. Like, believe me, the people who want to lose to get Mendoza are Jet fans. They're just thinking differently than a fan who doesn't want to lose. They're thinking long-term, future. This team is out of it anyway. I don't care what happens the rest of this year. Just get the freaking quarterback and let's win in the future. And then other people are like, no, I don't want to go into next year still not having learned how to win. I'm going to root for this team to win every game because every win matters, because it's confidence, it's learning how to win games. I swing back and forth on that. Part of me says, yeah, I believe that. I believe winning matters. But then part of me also believes, we're never going to win as a franchise until we get the quarterback. It's never going to happen. It does not happen, at least not consistently. You might be able to scrape into the playoffs a year with a bad quarterback, right? You might be able to scrounge through. Or if you're an amazing team with one of the best, most dominant defenses and a great running game, you might even be able to go deep for a little bit. But rosters change, injuries happen. If you don't have the quarterback, the second that roster becomes imperfect, like the Jets in 2009, 2010, as soon as that roster slips a little or falls down a little bit, if you don't have the right quarterback, the whole thing falls apart. That's my experience as a fan. Like I can't name a franchise that has consistent winning year to year without good quarterback. Like you have to have a good quarterback, right? And if you really want to win consistently and be a Super Bowl contender year after year, you have to have a top 5 franchise quarterback. I don't even know if there are 5 in the league right now that do that, right? You have Mahomes, obviously, right now that it's active. I mean, Lamar and Josh Allen haven't gotten there yet, but I think you'd consider them obviously guys that you could consider yourself a Super Bowl contender with, right? So Aside from that, like, people are talking a little bit about Justin and the Chargers because of the coach, right? And then you got the Eagles, who have a very good quarterback, but with a perfect roster almost. Well, now they're slipping. So look what happened. Look what happened. That's my example from before. We Jalen Hurts, I'm not putting him down. I wish we had him. He's a really good quarterback, but he's not Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not, right? He's not at that level, right? And look what happened. As soon as the Eagles' defense started to struggle, their offensive line has some injuries. As soon as there's a little chink in the armor, because they don't have an elite quarterback, look how fast it starts to fall apart on them, right? Nothing against Jalen Hurts. You give him a great roster, like a bulletproof type roster, he's not going to be the guy that loses it for you. He's not going to be the guy that makes, he could take that team to, he did it. He won a Super Bowl, right? But there are guys like Mahomes, Brady, right? Lamar Jackson, like, and Josh Allen, right? Like, the argument is with those kind of elite quarterbacks, and we've seen Mahomes do it, we've seen Brady do it, they can take imperfect rosters. They can overcome injuries, right? Tyreek Hill went away. Kansas City is not going to be the same team. He found a way because it's Patrick Mahomes. That doesn't mean he didn't have a good team around him. He did, right? But if you look at Kansas City's roster, you take Mahomes out of the equation, you just throw an average quarterback in there. I'm sorry. They're not winning no Super Bowl, right? So I get the strong desire. Like I think it's completely understandable of why somebody would desperately want this team to find a quarterback. And if that means tanking, then that fan has the right to root for that, right? And then another fan has the right to point out that Josh Allen was like the fourth quarterback picked in that draft. There were three guys that went ahead of him. Lamar Jackson was picked at the end of the first round. Aaron Rodgers, I think, was the 24th pick overall. Jordan Love, I don't know, because a lot of Green Bay fans have already given up on him, but as far as just getting a good quarterback, traded up into the first round to get him. Jackson Dart, he has a lot to prove. I mean, we don't know what he is completely yet, but you saw the Giants trade up into the 20s to get him, right? And they're excited about him, and the Giant fans are excited about him, and every Jet fan wishes we had him now, pretty much. So, I mean, my point is, you could respect the argument of, no, you don't have to tank. Just draft well. Find the right guy that's there, right? You can make arguments either way. But the one thing that, in my space, that I will respect is both sides of that argument. If you say, I want to tank, I respect that. I'm not going to say you're not a good fan because of that. If you're saying you want to win as many games as possible, that 7 games or 6 wins is much better than 3 wins, if you feel that way, I will respect that. But this thing about attacking each other as a fan base, this fan base loves to attack each other. We turn on each other so fast. It's incredible. You think that we'd be used to losing by now, and we'd be used to not turning on each other. We need each other's support right now. We got people out there attacking us, making fun of us, calling us pathetic, calling us embarrassing. Could we at least stay together and united as a fan base? Like, we could disagree on a few things, but we could agree that we're all freaking loyal as hell. You can't tell a fan who wants to tank that they're not a real fan. They're here. They're here. After years of losing, they're here. How do you say they're not a real fan? They're a real fan. They just have a different opinion than you. It's just like, it's so simple. It's just like people have different opinions and want different things. And sometimes it's so hard for us to accept that. And you can be completely passionate about it. Like, you could passionately believe on your opinion. Winning is the most important thing. Never root against your team or the other side. Tanking, winning those meaningless games. You could feel so strongly about it, right? It doesn't mean you have to point to the other opinion or the other side of that equation and say that those people are not fans because they disagree with you. Or in the case of the tankers saying about the other side, they're dumb. Like, insulting and attacking is literally a fallacy in arguing, in debating. It's a fallacy. When you're sitting there deciding on two issues, when there's an issue and there's two sides of an issue, and one side starts to attack the other side, like attack their intelligence, go into things that is not relevant to the argument, that is an arguing fallacy. I believe it's called the straw man or the ad hominem. I forgot which one. There's like four arguing fallacies. Lawyers are taught these for courtrooms so they don't make bad arguments. But it's a fallacy. It is an incorrect way to argue. Like, don't attack people personally because they disagree with you. It's so funny that I'm saying that. But literally stick to the debate. Give your reasons why you feel we should tank. Give your reasons why you feel we should never tank and we should root for our team. Like, that's how. If you go outside of that, you're admitting that you're losing the debate. You're gonna because what's happening is you have no argument. You run out of arguments. The other person's arguing, and then you get mad and say, "Well, you're a fake fan, or you're stupid, and you're a dumb fan, and you're the reason why we lose year after year." Is always the funny thing to me. You're the reason why we lose. I've seen people do that. I've seen people look towards other fans and say, "You're the reason we lose." Think about how funny that is. That we put ourselves in our minds in this position that we're the reason. There's a quarterback guy out there, loves to evaluate the quarterbacks, who honestly believes what we're saying about the quarterbacks is going to impact who the Jets draft. He's like, you gotta stop that. This is the only quarterback we could draft. You have to talk. Don't mention the other ones. Like they're listening to us. They're not listening to us. Trust me, Aaron Glenn, Moogs, the scouting group of theirs that he brought over from Denver, they don't care what we think. They're going to like the quarterback that they like, and they're going to take the quarterback that they want to take. And they're going to be wrong or they're going to be right. And they're going to leave us to fight with ourselves and scream at each other about whether or not we made the right move. And none of it's going to matter because the reality is the answer is going to unveil itself on the field. All the things we argue, 95% of them have a resolution. Right? 95% of them have a resolution. Like I say 95 and not 100 because there's still idiots out there that are saying it was right to draft Zach Wilson because they can't admit that they were wrong. Right? I admit that we were wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong for wanting Zach Wilson. So wrong. But there are people still defending him. So that's why it's 95%. But every one of our debates, everything we argue about gets answered and resolved except for this, the tanking versus not tanking. Because there are tons of people saying if we didn't win that game against Washington, if we didn't beat Washington and then beat New England, we could have Drake May. Right? And New England certainly wouldn't have him if we didn't beat them that game, Belichick's last game. So people will do that argument. Then the other argument is you just can't root against your team if you're a fan. Like, that's how people feel. So, I guess my point is, like, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Like, I love it when people argue that. No, you're not entitled to your opinion. You're just wrong or bad. No, you're not. You're just somebody with an opinion. You're allowed to have a different opinion than other people. You're allowed. I give you permission. So whether you want to tank or you don't want to tank, it doesn't matter. Like, that's what discussion is. We're just talking. Hey, I'm for team tank. Hey, I'm for team win. It's very simple. But the one thing we could all agree on is it's really, really shitty and crappy. Really, really shitty and crappy that we even have to have this discussion at all. So Bang Mateo, Yeti, Mark Sanchetti, I think I'm saying your name right. I think Harlan is here. Just thanking people for coming and participating in the chat. Appreciate it. Ron P, what's going on? Appreciate you. And that's it, man. Take care. Have a good day.